I have quite a few here. These next questions in regards to land acquisition and the process. The first question is, how close to a new highway, how close to your property, the highway comes, how close until you take that property? How close does the highway have to be to that property in order to be acquired?
And that, I'm going to turn that over. We do have Mike Cullian here. He's with IDOT. He's with our Bureau of Land Acquisition.
Good evening. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so loud. As Steve said, my name is Mike Cullian. I'm with IDOT and the Bureau of Land Acquisition. The department only acquires the right-of-way that we need to construct the project. What you're seeing tonight with B3 is a 2,000-foot corridor that will eventually be narrowed down to anywhere from about 250 to 400 foot wide swath. So we will not be out there acquiring a 2,000 foot corridor. We will narrow that down and then acquire the right of way that we need to in order to build this project. Now, getting back to the specifics of the original question, the department, when we build a brand new roadway from scratch, not an existing one that's being widened from 2 to 4 lanes or 4 to 6 lanes, but a brand new roadway such as this, the department's position is if the right-of-way line comes within 10 feet of a structure, now the right-of-way line being the property line that we need to buy up to, if we come within 10 feet of a structure, that property owner has the right to ask us to purchase that building. Now, that's a relatively simple procedure if we're talking about a house that sits on an average 100 by 125 residential lot. We would just make it an entire, what we call full acquisition. If we're talking about a structure, home, barn, outbuilding that sits on a 50 or 100 acre farm, we will not necessarily purchase the entire 100 acre site. We may just acquire the structure and pay relocation benefits to the property owner to either reconstruct another home, barn, outbuilding, whatever it is we are acquiring on the remainder of the property. Now, there is a possibility we would make it a full take, but we would take a good long look at that before we just arbitrarily purchase an entire piece of property that we don't necessarily need.
Might get to add some other questions onto about land acquisition. This is in regards to subdivisions. If part of a subdivision is needed to place the highway through, what happens to the rest of the subdivision?
Again, getting back to one of my original statements, we only acquire the right-of-way which we need in order to construct the project. So is it possible that, let's use an example of a 50-home subdivision, that we may only need to buy 5 or 6 of those homes or 10 of those homes in order to construct this project? Would the other 40 or 45 homes be left behind or remain where they are? Yes, that's more than likely to be the case. Again, we purchase the right-of-way that we need to construct the project. Again, if we do not have a need to purchase a 50-home subdivision, we would limit it to that which we need.
I do want to add one extra thing along with that. Usually, if you're dealing with a neighborhood of that kind of situation, part of what we do with the environmental process is noise studies as well, and so there would be a consideration also looked at on what the impact of noise is and can it be reasonably protected from noise in that situation as well. So that's part of it, part of the study that we're doing.
Kind of a two-part question. I'm going to combine a couple of these. How will we be compensated, and how will the road affect the value of our property?
I'll answer number 2 first. At this time, we don't know what effect the value of your property will, or what effect the roadway will have on the value of your property. I know that we could listen to both arguments tonight, that if it's a residential property, the roadway may negatively impact your property. If it's a commercial property or a vacant piece of land that's prime for commercial, industrial, some other type of development, a roadway may enhance the value of your property. There's no hard study out there that we have that determines an increase or decrease in the value of adjacent properties due to the roadway. I apologize, forget this first part of it, Tracy.
How will we be compensated?
Oh, sorry about that. That's the important one. If we do need to buy your property, the Illinois Department of Transportation, I would imagine Indiana DOT is probably similar. We hire outside independent fee appraisers to establish the fair market value for the property that we need to acquire. Once that appraisal is done, it is reviewed by an outside independent fee review appraiser. The department does not have appraisers on staff that establish the fair market values. That is all done by outside parties. Based on that appraisal report, an offer would be presented to you, the property owner, by a negotiator. There's always ample opportunity and time for property owners to consider the offer, and if you're not happy with it, you're more than welcome to make counter offers to the department, and hopefully we're able to come to a negotiated settlement. If not, ultimately we do have the authority to go into court and acquire the property through the court system. That's the last resort that we would rather not go down, but it is available if need be. There was something else I was going to add to that, and it seems to have passed. Apologies. Thank you. Ed's mentioning relocation in my ear. If there is a building impacted, and I know there's some raw farmland out there where there wouldn't be buildings impacted, but if there is a building impacted, single-family house, duplex, commercial building, farm building, the department, in addition to the fair market value for your property, also compensates you to relocate from point A, the property we need to acquire from you, to point B, another destination of your choice. So there are relocation benefits prescribed by the federal government and law enacted by the state of Illinois to offer you relocation benefits above and beyond the fair market value for your home or your place of business.
Going back to the value